Okay.
Take two. Welcome to Illinois.
Well, full and happy. Okay, so for the translation, this is another, so it's kind of like that near bar, saccade, or pursuit, or the reason why we do bead string and all that. It's all trying to break that convergent spasm. Sometimes you can't do it with a near bar saccade or the bead string, or this you have to actually get them to translate because it fires the otoliths to give just a different signal. Sometimes they can't do it through the visual system. You actually have to use the translation, the utricals, which is part of the otoliths, to actually get that movement. A lot of times patients have that convergent spasm, and when they have that, it feels as though stuff is coming at them very quickly, or that they're already moving towards something, or something's coming at them, right? Because that's how this works. If you look at, you look at my eyes and I follow my thumb in, my eyes followed in because there's something coming at me. If they're always like this, it's as though they're always moving towards something, or something's always moving towards them. So we want to do this translation backwards, away from it, to counteract or to find that null, to do the opposite as to what they're always feeling. So again, starting at this tape line here, really no closer. We know that they already have the convergent spasm, so we don't want to put them all the way into convergence first, because it may be hard for them to recover coming out. Okay, so starting already outside of that, we know that they already feel like they're in convergence, that they are. So we want to start outside of that and just take it farther out. Okay, it's hard. It's easier to obviously do it where you're just standing behind them and pulling backwards. Harder to do it if you're by yourself, to push them forward and keep it, or push them backwards, but when you're standing in front of them and keep it controlled and keep it smooth and all of that. It may be easier to kind of tag team this at the start, so one person's pulling back while the other person's washing their eyes. That's typically an easier way to go. I mean, we still do that. Sometimes I used to do that in Atlanta too, because it's just easier to do it that way. Because even with this, if you want to make a nice smooth action, it's hard to stay right here, stay out of their way, push them back like this, and watch their eyes, and stay on course, and there's just a lot of things going in there. Okay, it may be easier to start them here. Somebody's watching in front to see what their eyes are doing, and you pull back just at a nice, easy pace, just like this. It's easier to control it that way. Okay, when you're coming to that stop at the end, you want to not bring it to where it's like here and then stop, right? So we want to have that nice slow, as they're coming back into it, you're slowing, you slowly decelerate into that there. Because a lot of patients that have this, again, they have that otolithic issue, that utricle is just unstable. So if you're pulling back and you stop all of a sudden, like Asia gets this. If you stop too quickly for her, she feels like she pushes way back and then comes shooting way forward, okay? It's that rebound effect for her. So you want to really just go nice and easy into that stop, okay? We can do this right here. Some patients, we may even do it where it's like, put the dot on the wall down there and we're pulling them back 15 feet.
Cal.
Like cal, yeah, exactly. Or like this dot right here, pulling them way back. As we're getting, most times we're just going to do it with that pull straight back. That's usually enough. When we start to get really advanced for people and we're breaking most of their convergent spasm, except for when they're doing that no-no, say every time we do this, they get the convergent spasm back, and we may need to do that while we're pulling them back, or we may need to do the yes while we're pulling them back, but that's significantly harder on them, and it's significantly harder to do. They have to be able to do it actively, sitting still first, before we can do that in translation and doing it. Okay. So again, and then once you're back here with this, like that, if we pull them back to get that divergent effect, we don't want to then push them forward to get the convergence effect. So you have them stand up. So we stand up. And then we're going to walk back forward. They don't need to look at the dot, because again, we don't want them staring at the dot. They walk forward and they get up to just above that, and then have a seat. Most of the times you want to take a second to let them, a lot of these patients have issues with that up-down part. You want to let them adjust to that up-down first. Okay, so they get here, get comfortable. the best way to do it before they sit down is to kind of do just a little swivel with the wheels so that your first move going backwards the wheels don't turn on you. So before they sit down, you just do that to get the wheels facing backwards. And then as soon as they sit down, you're good to go and you know that that pull is going to be straight back. Okay. We'll try to write it down. I'll try to do a better job of writing down in there if I want a fast pull or slow pull. Again, most people are going to be this nice, easy, kind of medium speed pull back. Some people may have it where that's not going to break it enough for them, and you need to actually pull it back quickly, but then you still slowly come into that.
And that stop,
range,
yeah.
that stop. But I'll try to do a better job of making a note on if that's what it should be.
We'll say like fast pull back into a slow stop, or
Yeah.
slow pull back, slow stop.
I'll try to do a better job with all of my notes, like on the face sheet and stuff, of being more descriptive of like exactly how it should look. And then when you guys look at that, if you say, okay, you know, I don't really know all the variables of this, what does this mean? Then I'll try to make it more clear. But I'll try to write those out there for you so that you know if we're doing that no, yes, you know, if it's gonna be more than that 20 or 30 degrees or less, then I'll write it in there.
Okay.
You know, so we'll kind of have a standard for everything, and if there's anything off of standard, then we'll note it. Okay.
Okay, so let's say they're doing really good.
Mhm.
How many times?
If if they do every one perfect,
Yeah.
then it's gonna be, again, 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
Okay? Enough to get a therapeutic effect from it, but we're not doing it,
Yeah.
you know, the whole time, or to fatigue. Some people like I tried doing it again on Tyler today. He just gets really dizzy doing it. I'm gonna try to do a couple different things with him, but just that pull, even from this distance back, still made him significantly more dizzy. And he got more hypomimic, and he got more, you know, with that, his affect, or like the facial tone, his muscles in his face coming down a little bit. Somebody like Asia, sometimes we can do several, and she feels better with them, and then she kind of crashes on one of them, and we're like, okay, we're done. Sometimes it's like we do 2, and she's getting worse with each one. We're like, well, translation was not in the cards for you today. You know, we're gonna have to do something different. Those are the more severe cases. You know, someone like Cal.
Mhm.
You know, Cal's like, okay, we can rip 5 or 6 of these. We know we're doing something good for him, but he's not having any outward crazy symptoms from it.
So let's say like Tyler today, like he didn't do good. So let's say he comes back tomorrow, try it again, or
Yeah,
I think sometimes too, like it'll be a bad day for them, so we'll cross it out and do not perform. And then some people, we might think like never again, even attempted.
right.
Or is it
That's
just
where,
that day?
yeah, that's where I want to get on more of the, so, and I need to talk to Dr. George about this too, but getting to where we stop using the SOAP note
No.
as the roadmap. We
Okay.
use the face sheet as roadmap, because there may be some days where on a SOAP note, we decide not to do something.
Yeah.
We still want to do it on a regular basis with them,
Just
but we cross it out on the
that
SOAP,
day.
yeah, just not on that day. And the SOAP note should be the notes for what happened on that day, whereas the face sheet, not exactly. So the face sheet is their regular protocol, or their roadmap for this is their objective findings, their subjective findings, this is their therapies, and in the bottom, this is the notes of where we want to progress to what we want to see, right? That becomes our template or our roadmap for their treatment. Whereas the SOAP notes, they may change, because like some of our patients, you know, especially, you know, I have a bad habit of, I kind of like do a couple things, not a bad habit, but just a habit of doing something, and then I may trial something different.
Mhm.
I have to write it down in the SOAP note that I did it. For legal purposes, you have to write down that you do it, but it may not be something that I want to do every time, right? So if it's something that I want to do every time, I'll go back to the face sheet and say add on this, let's say 9/7/16, add
Yeah.
gaze with left half Maggie first. Or something. You know, if I do it and say this was really beneficial, I want to add it to their template, then we'll do that. But it does get confusing, especially going, you know, there's multiple of you guys looking at it, multiple doctors looking at it, you know, it kind of gets tough when we're using the SOAP note as the roadmap, especially if, let's say, you know, I wanted to just try something, you know, but didn't necessarily go over it with Dr. George or Dr. Matt, And then they look at it and say, okay, well, we must be wanting to do this now. And then we start adding it every time, but maybe it didn't go so great the first day, and we don't want to do that, you know. So that's where the face sheet becomes a better use, if we can use that as a